In this module, we will talk about how can we change the look of the data that we see. In fact, this is more about the cosmetic look of a spreadsheet. We are not going to be talking about the type of the data, but we are going to talk about how it looks. For example, the font color, the type of the font that we use, should we have border or not, etc, etc. So those kinds of things which changes just cosmetically work how the data looks, and that's what we will be covering in this upcoming videos. Before we start talking about that, in this video we will go over a few tips about storing data. So when we have look at the table that we have here, for example, you can see the small database here, right? You know that the first one is name of the books that we have in our bookstore. Then we have the author names, and finally we have the price of the particular books, right? But if you are sending this information to somebody else, or if you don't use this information for a while, maybe 6 months, and then you start looking at it again, then you may not remember what each column means. So we are going to be talking about good practice of us when we store the data. So columns are called field in database terminology, and rows are called the records. And this range of cells that we have here can be called as table in database terminology. Now, in order to easily identify each field or columns, we usually give the names. For example, the very first column really doesn't tell us what type of information it is, but we would like to create respective field name for each columns. So they are meaningful and they help us to identify what type of information stored we have in each these columns. So in order to do that, so here I am going to right click here and row number 1 and just click on insert option, and you can see extra row has been inserted here, right? And I'm going to type in the name of the first field or column which is in the name of the book. So I can just name it as book name. And the second column name is authors. And the final one or third one is the price. And what we have now is a table where the first row represents the field names or the column names. And in such case, first column also referred as a header row because it has the heading of the columns of the information we have. Now, since it's a table or this is a set of data about our books, I want to create a store name or the bookstore name of this particular database or particular columns. So that I'm just moving the cursor to the top of the row and right click here again and click on insert option. Here I'm going to give the bookstore name as my Adapt Bookstore. Now if you share this with somebody, they would know what information do you have in this table. Hope you clear this topic.